my mentor, Laura Gidea Ghita. How did constellations find you?
After all the trainings that I did, I'm still with Constellation since 2007 because Constellation keeps you with your feet on the ground, with your head on your shoulders, and allows you to perceive not only your body, not only your emotions, from the being to being, from love to love. Through this work, we realize that everything is the way it is. We are in this reality. People that are traumatized, they need somebody that has the power to contain them. She panicked in that moment and she said, I remembered what you told me about asking the help of the ancestors. The knowing field, because this field we are part of and is inside of us. This energy field really knows something deeper. As a constellator, you have to arrive in a place where the ego is a part of you. Because the orders of the family system are the same for everybody. We are all the same. When the person is starting to cry, to scream, starting to feel the pain in the trauma, you cannot hold the space for the client.
Dear friends, thank you for being here. Today is a special day for me because I'm finally having the chance to introduce to you my mentor, Laura Gidea Ghita. She's also from Romania. She's a psychotherapist, had a master in psychology, senior systemic and family constellation facilitator, and most importantly, a trainer into systemic constellations. I've been in her training since more than 2 years. Laura, thank you so much for being here today and accepting this invitation.
Thank you for having me, Victor, Daniel. I'm happy to be here with all your friends. And yes, we are all in a journey. Consciously or unconsciously, we are on the path.
Yeah. Family constellation is such an interesting concept and everybody's getting so interested. And the way it finds us is the most interestingly. How did constellations find you?
It was a long time ago when I was in a hypnotherapy training. And the teachers brought family constellation into a weekend of personal development. And then from there, I started to look for family constellation trainings and so on.
How did your journey start and who are your mentors? For everyone out there is looking for someone that has the position to teach the right values and not just another online course. Who are your mentors, your teachers?
Yeah, I will talk about them. And I mention all the trainings that I've done. Not because I need to mention them, but because I need people to understand that it's a journey that is not ending, and it's very important to take it seriously and to assume the responsibility for this journey. In Encounter Constellation in 2007, I started a training in Romania with Barbara Morgan from UK. And then the training was 2.5 years. And then in the meantime, I started another training with somebody from Germany, Cornelia Sindu-Niță. Her parents are Romanians, but she was born in Germany. And that was just the beginning. So I went in parallel with these two trainings. And then I have an international training where I had the honor to be trained with more than 40 trainers, the elders that were in the field from the beginnings. I had a training with the Bert Hellinger Institute from Netherlands in systemic pedagogy. I have a training in systemic organizational constellation, again with the Netherlands Institute, and these are the main ones. I don't count the intensives, the workshops, and so on. So my training, the new version of the training, is starting online. But without being in person, I don't think you can facilitate. You can not be a facilitator without having the training in person.
I totally agree. And it's so interesting because I had to go through all the misbehaviors and misunderstandings in the constellations, and I had terrible experiences. First of all, with facilitators, that they didn't have a proper mentor. They went to a few constellations here and there, and they just started doing things. And I've seen a lot of side effects. People will get a lot of issues out of these kind of constellations. And I also encountered the other side of doing an online course and feeling that is ready to start facilitating. And again, I went to some not that good experiences. So that's the time when I decided that I want to be under a mentor who will guide me step by step. I understood that unlike any other course, it's not something that you do it over a week and then you become a facilitator. Tell us more about that, because everybody thinks they'll do an online course. Why it takes long?
So all the trainings that are for therapists, for psychotherapists, that are serious trainings are at least 2.5 years, 3 years, if not 4 years. Yeah, the family constellation trainings that I know that are held for responsible and and well-known trainers is 2.5 years to 3 years. Similar is the training that I'm doing, as you know. Why? Because when you arrive to work with somebody, to be there with a person, you have to be sure that you are aligned with who you are, with the field that we are in, with aware of what is happening inside of you, aware of what are your feelings, what are your thoughts, what is the field telling you, what are the feelings of the client, what is happening with the client, to make this distinction in between you, what is happening with you, inside of you, and what is happening with the client. Otherwise, we project to one another, and otherwise, you can also do in the constellation what you want to do. The constellation work is about following the guidance of this field. We are not doing what we perceive, what we thought that the client's needs. We are doing what the field is guiding us to do. Actually, if I have to be honest, we are not doing. And this is the training. You learn to be, to obtain, to stay in that state of being available of the movement that are happening in the system of the client. So if you think that you can do this in one weekend, in 1 week, in 1 month, you are not on the path. You have to allow yourself to be aware of the importance of the work that you are doing when you are working with somebody else as a therapist. Doesn't matter the way of working, but I'm talking about a constellation. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's very easy. It's not such a, you can do it, everybody can do it. No, it's not true. Because, of course, there are some so-called orders of love. They name these orders of love. There are some kind of laws, but they are natural laws that are not invented or created by the human mind. And you have to follow them. You have to understand the interaction in between these laws. You have to understand how these ones are impacting our lives, the client life, the group, the individuals in the group, how what is happening in the constellation is impacting them. You have to understand that in one moment, you might be in the place to a deep, powerful trauma, and you have to be prepared to hold the space for the client, for the participants in this movement of the trauma. So it's not it's not something that somebody can do overnight. It's something that you train yourself, and you have to have this discipline and this responsibility that you are there for holding the space for the client.
Many people, they are struggling in life. They're just jumping from a coach to the other and so many other therapies. It was in my case as well. And I thought I sorted so many other problems, and at some point the spiritual ego steps in between, like many of you, I'm sure that you did Reiki and Pranic and coached by Tony Robbins and many other things. And it's all a trap. I can tell you, because I was in that trap for a very long time and had no idea. And I realized all this when Laura was able to hold my hand, and was not even at the beginning, was after many months and many modules, when sometimes you feel that you break apart to be able to come back. And then this is not for someone who only wants to be a facilitator. I would say this is the best way to get to what you want, because there are many coaches out there, many coaching programs, but this is something different. And as a student and as a client for the constellations as well of Laura, I felt that everyone should go through this kind of course, because you go step by step, first connecting to yourself, to your soul, to your parents, to your lineage, and in no other method you can find this. And it's not only if you want to be a facilitator, that's great, but I would recommend this for everyone who wants actually to really transform their life. Now, maybe you can tell us more about this. What's happening in an actual training that it takes 2 years?
Mm-hmm. I will go back to the ideas you started.
Yeah.
I'm in this field since 94. So I did all the trainings that I could do. I also did NLP coaching, I arrived to coaching that is amazing and very useful. All the trainings that I did, they helped me in the moment. They helped me at that time, at the level of awareness I was at that time. But still, if we remain stuck in one kind of training, in one kind of therapy, like Reiki and others, in one moment we are not able to make the distinction in between going into the illusionary area and the reality of our lives. That's why after all the trainings that I did, I'm still with Constellation since 2007, because Constellation keeps you with your feet on the ground, with your head on your shoulders, and allows you to perceive not only your body, not only your emotions, not only be aware of the thoughts that are helping you and the thoughts that are not helping you, but to perceive and to allow yourself to expand yourself, your consciousness, your awareness, in a very powerful way, but in the same time being aware of what is happening with you. You don't lose yourself. You are not going in la la land, dreaming of divine love and I don't know what else, yeah? You are here and now, in the moment. You learn. This is the first step that we are doing in the training. We have a very precise and I insist, as you remember, very much when this part of the training where we learn to be present, to be in presence, to be in this reality, expanding our awareness, but still being aware of whatever is happening inside of us, around us, with the people, to be aware of the connection that we have. Am I allowing myself to connect with you, you being my client, or I am shrinking Because why? It's something that is happening with me. Are you showing me something that I forget about? And then what is happening? Can I stay with you? Can I do a constellation? This is a step, a big step. That's why it's important also for, not for only being a facilitator in constellation, but also for your life, because we need this in our day-to-day life. If I'm not aware, everything that is happening outside of my being might destabilize me, might take me in a wrong direction, not in the direction that I want to go. But if I learn, if I teach myself, it's not a learning, it's a being learning. If I teach myself, if I train myself to be in this state of presence, allowing myself to be aware, allowing my consciousness to expand, and also to be in that state of realizing consciously what is happening, then we can deal with our life easier, with our day-to-day life, and then we can become a facilitator. This is the first step. Then we learn to connect, to interconnect, to stay in connection, when to withdraw from the connection, why I need to withdraw from the connection with the representatives, with the client. I learn how to be in this field, aware of everything that is happening in the field. You know, in the constellation group, maybe you are very focused on the client, talking with the client, but you have to know what is happening in the group with each person, with all of them, what the field is telling you, how the field is shaping while we are talking about your issue, and then what is happening with this individual that is there in the group. Otherwise, you cannot hold the space. You are doing something, but you are not doing whatever is needed to be done. So, and then something else that we are learning. We are learning about the orders of love, as they are named in the constellation field. How they are impacting our lives, how they are interconnecting each other. Because if you have an issue, it might come from something that happens in your life, in your present life, but also with your ancestors. In one or this, somebody was excluded, or one of these orders was not honored, was not something was happening there, and they bypass the order. For example, a grandfather that was lost his life, let's say in the war, was forgotten, and that means that he was excluded, and that means that the precedence order, the hierarchy, the natural hierarchy of a system was not honored, respected. So then the family system is forcing the next generations to remember we have a hierarchy in this system. You are alive, you, Victor, are alive because your grandfather, your grandparents, your grandfather had this experience. And then until life arrives at you, somebody forget about him, and nobody is honoring him again. So, and what is very important in this training is not only we are learning about these things, examples, constellations that are, we are doing this, we are really doing this with each of one, with each trainees. So you as a trainee, you are experience every single step again and again. You are working your constellations. We are doing mini constellations. You know that I find them very valuable, because these mini constellations that we are doing are helping us, allowing us to understand the principles, and in the same time to experience these principles in our bodies, in our lives, with our mind, with our perceptions. So they are very valuable, because each time when we are learning about something, we are doing these exercises, these mini constellations, we are actually making steps on our path.
Huh. It's so deep. It makes even more sense now, all what was happening in these 2 years since I started with you.
All of us, in a certain way, are complaining about our lives. All of us about some aspects of our lives, about our parents, about our grandparents, about our partners, couple partners or business partners. But then what is important that is happening in the constellation field, that is bringing us, is that through this work we realize that everything is the way it is. We are in this reality. The reality that I perceive in this moment in my life, it might be different from the one that I will perceive tomorrow. Because until tomorrow, I will understand something else, more about me, my life, my parents, my partners, and then tomorrow the reality will be differently. But then we are in a place now as human beings that we don't really know too much about who we are and about the reality we are living in. So what we learn in constellation is to allow ourselves to receive this unknowing. We don't really know. I don't really know what you need as a client. You came as a client, you are saying this is my issue, but I, with my mind, doesn't matter how much I learn, doesn't matter how much I experience constellation, I don't really know what you need to reposition yourself, because I don't want to say to heal yourself, to whatever, to reposition yourself in your life with your issue. I don't really know. So we also learn to be curious, to be open, and to allow ourselves to receive this I don't know, to be in this I don't really know, and to allow ourselves to be in the flow with the field that is actually guaranteed to show us what is needed. So it's not, it might seem science fiction, but it's not science fiction, because we are all in this field of energy. A lot of area of science already explain this reality in a certain way. We can understand in a certain way with the mind. We can feel it in another way more, but we don't allow ourselves to really feel. But maybe we can feel, but we cannot understand with the mind. We know that everything is energy, information, different kind of vibrations. But in constellation work, we really allow ourselves to experience this reality together with a group, with a training group, and to allow ourselves to say, okay, I don't really know what is happening. I know what I feel. I know what my thoughts are. I know what I would like to have. I know maybe to make the difference in between what I want and what I need. Yeah, what is my desire, or what is my need? Maybe I'm in that place, but then I don't really know what I need in order to me to have that internal movement, because we are talking about the movement that is happening inside of us, internal movement that will help me to deal with this issue differently. Yeah, to reposition myself for this issue in my life, where to look, how to honor what I have to honor, how to recognize what I have to recognize, how to acknowledge, yes, what is to be acknowledged, to what needs to be acknowledged. And these are steps that needs time to be done, and then needs time to be integrated. So I cannot make, the program is 4 days, modules of 4 days. In between them, 1 month and a half or maybe 2 months, because we really need to allow whatever is happening with us, the experiences that we have, to integrate, to allow them to make space for them inside of this being that we are.
I heard a lot of conversations lately, and many people are so afraid to come to constellations because they think it's all about traumas and they don't want to be traumatized. They are enough of pain, enough of suffering, and they feel that coming to a constellation, they will feel even more intense and they are running away, speed of light from it. It's the connection with our ancestors and their gifts, that it's so much love and power that we get, and it's not that much about the trauma, but it's about the power that we get back. Tell us more about that.
I'm working like this since, I don't know when, there are some years. I'm working from this perspective to connect with the resources inside of me, with the parts that can help the part in me that is suffering, in pain. I have also parts in me that are in power, and they can help these parts, but also with the resources and the gifts that we have from our ancestors, because they had their lives, their experiences, and they learned how to overcome these experiences. The issues that they have, they learned how to overcome. They learned what to do with their lives in order to go on. So as they learn, they gain some wisdom, some knowledge, some method of dealing with different kind of issues in life. And then whatever they gain are part of their lives. As epigenetic is saying, we have in ourselves this information from our ancestors. So when we connect with them, with the way they loved, for example, maybe we have in the story that we have in our mind, they didn't know how to love. I didn't saw them loving each other or so. But then we find out, okay, they are very connected. They loved each other. They didn't show it in a way that I can understand that this is love, but they showed in another way the love. Yeah. So yes, we really need to look at this and to allow ourselves to receive and to receive and take, because you give me something, I receive it, but I leave it here or I leave it somewhere in my mind. I receive this, but if I don't take it fully to use it, to make it part of me, it's a waste of time and resources. But then I want to say something else, because you spoke about trauma and re-traumatization. Lately, a lot of experts are coming out saying you cannot be re-traumatized because you are still in the trauma. If you didn't allow the process of this trauma to develop, and you didn't reposition yourself from the trauma in relationship with persons, that in connection with the situation, if you didn't find yourself another place in your life, in yourself, related to this trauma, you are still in the trauma. So what is happening in different kind of therapies, I dare to say, and also in constellation, is that you being aware intentionally, you are looking at your trauma. You are not re-traumatize yourself, or you are allowing yourself to visit this area of your trauma, to understand, to learn what to do, how to do differently in order for you to start to move from the traumatized way of living to another, to take the gift of the trauma, the resources, if you said about this, and to move on in your life differently. Otherwise, you are living from the survival mode, being traumatized. So this is, in this moment, my way of seeing this. But yes, if you are not trained, when the person is starting to cry, to scream, to do whatever, because started to feel the pain in the trauma, you cannot hold the space for the client. You can stop the client in the peak of the trauma, and then the pain is starting to be even bigger, or you cannot hold the client to experience the pain there. You have to hold the client with the inner power of your aligned being. From the being to being, from love to love, from wisdom to wisdom. I don't think I can find words to explain this, but it's important to know that people that are traumatized, they need somebody that has the power to contain them. But if I need to contain a client, I have to learn to contain myself, my pain, my suffering, my doubts, my whatever.
It's so important.
Yeah.
So important. So don't run away from constellations because you're running away from your life. And this is probably the best way to take it step by step, not maybe jump to the middle of the pain of the problem, but go step by step. And don't expect that in one constellation you'll be solving all your existential issues. As Laura said, even after more than 15 years, she's still regularly having gatherings with her mentors to get to the deepest levels possible and bringing for us the gifts that she's having from there.
Thank you, Victor, Daniel. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure for me to be with you. And yes, I really love to do this work and to share, to spread the word of this work.
If you want to be a facilitator of family and systemic constellations, or you want to really transform your life, because this is definitely different than anything that you tried before, we'll be happy to have you in the group. And thank you for supporting this channel. If you didn't subscribe yet, please do, because we'll post on a lot of these beautiful episodes that will enrich your life. See you in the next episode.